In this particular lecture, we will be discussing about risk analysis using event tree. Event tree analysis, or ETA, is a risk analysis technique. Rather, it is a technique for the hazard identification. So in this video, we will be discussing in details about what event tree analysis is, what are the various steps in conducting the event tree analysis, and then we will provide a practical industrial example and we will do the event tree analysis in practical, and I will give you a generic format for the event tree analysis at the last. So let's begin. So highlights of the event tree analysis is to understand the consequence of event. So when we are doing ETA or event tree analysis, we assume that initial undesired event has occurred, and now we want to understand if that particular event has occurred, what are the consequences for that event. Having various barriers in place, as you can see in this particular picture on the right hand side, the squares or rectangles, the standing rectangles, they represent different barriers. So when a undesired event occurs, it needs to move through these different barriers. Some of these barriers may fail, some may remain intact. So depending on the pass or failure of the barrier, our undesired consequence also vary. So in some condition, if the barriers works properly fine, we have, even if the undesired event have occurred, we have continuous operation. In other case, the barrier may act in such a way that we have a safe shutdown of the system. So in this case, we will be losing our production, but there is no safety related incident that is happening. In other cases, where the multiple barriers fails, resulting in a fail hazardous situation or fail dangerous situation. So as you can see, the event remains on the left and we are discussing about the consequence to the right. So this is a kind of tree generated through the consequence of the events. And this particular event tree, which is shown as a very simple manner, you can see this is a qualitative approach, but event tree can be both qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Another thing is that we need to understand here is event tree analysis is often done with fault tree analysis. Fault tree analysis provides the causes of the failure or causes of the undesired events. So in combination of this, FTA and ETA provides actually the bow tie diagram. To know more about the difference between the fault tree analysis and event tree analysis, I have a different lecture. I will provide the link below. Okay. Now, what are the steps to do the ETA? First, we need to identify the initiating event. Then, we need to identify the safety functions or the barrier that are associated with that initiating event. And based on the initiating event and the barrier in the step 3, we actually construct the event tree. And finally, obviously, you need to describe the resulting event tree. So these are the very simple 4 basic steps for event tree analysis. So in our subsequent slides, we'll show how to really make a event tree. So this is a very simple example where we have considered that fire is our initiating event, and this you can see that uh, this is a this can be the same event tree can be represented qualitatively and quantitatively both. So initiating event may be an explosion. An explosion may result in a fire or may not result in a fire. So if the explosion results in a fire, it further propagates to other areas or other consequences. But in the first hand, if it does not produce any fire, then there is no fire, right? Then if the fire starts, we need to look whether the sprinkling system will work or not. If the sprinkling system does not work, then we need to look whether the fire alarm gets activated or not. So here also, depending on the situation of the fire alarm activation, we can have the controlled fire with no alarm or controlled fire with alarm. Similarly, if the sprinkler system does not work, but the fire alarm system works, then we can have an uncontrolled fire with alarm. And if all of our three variables like start of fire, sprinkler system does not work, and fire alarm does not work, then it results in uncontrolled fire with no alarm. So if we go with only true and false of the events, we can get the outcomes in a qualitative manner. But if we also look at the probability of occurrence of that event, we can get a quantitative result. For example, like we can assume that or we can have the past data about the what is the chance of the explosion. So if we have the data and then we have the data for what is the probability of occurrence of fire in case of explosion. So here in this case we have taken like this is 80-20. So if the explosion occurs, the chances of having fire is like 80%. Then we are looking at the chances of sprinkling system failure. So we can have the failure data from either the vendor database or there are various failure data that are available in the industry. There are various failure database like Orita, Syntef, etc. So from there we can take this failure rates, and depending on this probability of occurrence of different event, we can have the final probability of occurrence of a particular event, like whether there will be uncontrolled fire or controlled fire, and what is the probability of uncontrolled fire with fire alarm, and what is the probability that we will be having uncontrolled fire with fire alarm. So let's look into a another example. So this is a example where there is a separator, and this separator actually separates the feed into liquid and gaseous components. So there is a overpressure scenario in the pressure vessel. So when this overpressure is detected by the two pressure switch, so whenever there is a overpressure or the pressure switches detect that pressure has gone above their set limit, then first the two valves which are in series PSD1 and PSD2 closes. If the pressure is not maintained by even by closing these two valves, then there are two PSBs which went into the flare to reduce the pressure. So the set pressure of the PSB will be obviously higher than the pressure switches. And even after the closing of the valve, or maybe the valve did not close in that situation and PSB also did not pop up, there is another barrier which is a ruptured disc. So ruptured disc then blows out. So ruptured disc blows out to prevent the fire. So in this case, We have three variables. One is PSD, the second is PSV, and third is the rupture disk. And depending on the situation of the working of the variables, we can have different action we can have. So maybe first initiating event can be when the overpressure situation may happen. The situation may happen when there is a flow from the inlet side to the pressure vessel, but suddenly the outlet section has been blocked due to any reason, due to the sudden uh, maybe sudden trip of the downstream machine or downstream equipment, or sudden closure of the valve by the operator by mistake, or maybe malfunction of the valves. Anything can happen in the downstream that may result in the overpressure rising of the vessel. So in that case, the first line of defense is obviously the PSDs, which gets closed by getting command from the pressure switch. Now there can be two situations. One is PSD can be closed, or the PSD did not close. So in case the PSD closes, so there is a controlled shutdown, right? Because the PSD closes, and there is no further escalation of the event, right? So this is a safe shutdown situation. But in the case where the PSD did not close, the PSD malfunction or the switch malfunction, there again the pressure rises in the vessel. Now there you have another barrier, that is PSB. Now the PSB should pop when the pressure goes above its set pressure to relieve the pressure. Now in this case, two situations may happen. The PSB can pop or PSB do not pop. If the PSB pop, what will happen? Gas will be released through the flare. So this is a situation when the shutdown occurs, but this is not a, you can not say that this is a very safe shutdown, right? This is a fairly dangerous situation. But still your pressure vessel is safe. You can identify that though there is no explosion of the vessel or no rupture of the vessel, right? But in the case where the PSB also did not pop, so your PSD valves did not close and your PSB do not pop, then it goes into the third barrier, which is the rupture disk. So rupture disk set pressure is obviously set at a higher pressure than the PSB. Now in this situation, there again there may be two options. One is the rupture disk may open, or rupture disk do not open. In the case the rupture disk opens, the gas flows out from through the rupture disk. So in this case, there is a vent of the material, whatever inside the separator, into nearby to the vessel. So this is venting is not occurring very safely. It is not going into the flare. So it is creating still it is creating hazardous situation, but still it is safe because your vessel has not ruptured, right? But in this case, where the rupture disk also do not open, then what will happen? Obviously there will be rupture or explosion of the separator. So as you can see, depending on the pass or fail of the different barrier components, there can be four different outcomes that may occur here. One is rupture or the explosion of the separator, that is the highest unsafe event that may occur. Then there may be gas flowing out of the rupture disk, that is another thing. Then the gas released to the flare is the third possible thing, and the fourth thing is the safe shutdown of the system. So by constructing this event tree, you can very easily uh, determine that what can be your outcome, right? And depending this on this outcome and the situation, you may take further action, right? Okay. Now I will give you the generic example how to conduct a event tree analysis. So here the like you have can have multiple barriers like V1, V2, V3, V4, and you can use this true false table to determine the outcomes. So if you have like four barriers, so you will have around 9 outcomes, right? So this is a generic example that you can use. If you need the editable version, you can write in the comment box. I will provide you the editable version. Okay, thank you so much. Hope you have understood what the event tree analysis is and how to conduct the event tree analysis and what benefits it provides to you, right? So please try and do some event tree analysis and provide feedback to me if you have any issues with them. Okay, thank you so much for patient listening.